Hey y'all. Welcome to another episode of Brown Versations. It is time for y'all to get on in here, grab your drink, honey, because we got things that we need to talk about. Okay. Get in here. Let me get all the things set up. Hey there, Michelle. How are you? How are you? As you all can see, Sab is not here with us today. She had some things that she had to take care of. So if we can send her all of the well wishes and prayers and thoughts and everything, let's send that over her way because she needs it. All right. So it's me today. What up? Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, October, Roberta, Irma. Glad to have y'all with us today. So let's go ahead on and get the business out of the way, y'all. Go ahead and say hey in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Tag your friends in the broadcast. Go ahead and share on your page so that we can get people in here to have this brown conversation. Child, grab your drink because we got some things that we need to talk about. Okay. Thank you, Stanza. Yes, if y'all will send all the good juju, good vibes, all of that over to Sab. As she is getting things together and really just settling herself in her mind. So we know we always talk about self-care and making sure that we are prioritizing the things that are important. So Sab is off tonight. So we're gonna be hanging out, y'all. So I definitely want to make sure that I do a welcome to any of our first time viewers. So if this is your first time hanging out with us on Brown Conversations, go ahead and say what up in the comments because we love to celebrate our first time viewers. We're always looking to expand the beautiful Brown Girl family. So we want to honor our first timers. And for those of you who are always here hanging out with us, our faithful members, we definitely want to make sure we give you some love. So go ahead and drop a heart in the comments if you are always here hanging out with us because we don't take you for granted. All right. You could be anywhere on a Monday, child, but you right here with us. So we are happy about that. So hey y'all, see y'all coming in. We got Buffy from DC. Hey Christina, Sherry, first timer. Yes, Sherry, girl, you get you some first time spirit fingers. Yes, honey. Allison from Tampa, Jennifer, Tanisha, Candace, Leslie, Nina, Selena, Teresa. Dang, y'all coming in here quick. All right, y'all ready to have this conversation tonight? Okay, we ready too. Cool. Again, make sure that you are tagging your friends, that you are sharing the broadcast on your page because it is time to have this conversation. So I want to go ahead and do our official welcome. So welcome y'all to BBG TV Brown Versations. This is our virtual platform where we talk about all things brown girl related. We are here to connect you to other like-minded women and give you a platform to share your voice in the brown conversations that matter to us and those we care about. We invite you to follow beautiful brown girls and follow us individually as we take this journey through life. My name is Kimberland, and I come to you, I was about to say out of Tampa, but guess what, y'all? I left, child. I rolled out of Florida. I am gone, y'all. Gone. You hear me? I am no longer in Florida. So I come today, I'm in Boston. So I come to y'all out of Boston. I am an educator, I'm a life coach. I love to help people discover their God given purpose. And I am your host here on Brown Conversations and super excited to be here. Thank you, Teresa, girl. I'm not going to even get into my hair journey today, but thank you, child, so much. It's been a lot. If y'all follow me on Facebook, you probably saw what I did the other day, but I'll save that for another time. So we want to get this party popping, y'all. So want to remind you all, if you are interested in having your business to be highlighted on our show, to be promoted on our show, make sure that you send us an email at beautifulbrowngirls@gmail.com. We are always looking for sponsors. So if you are looking for your business to be highlighted, make sure you send us that email. And we also want to make sure that you have joined us over on our Beautiful Brown Girls social network. If you go over to members.beautifulbrowngirls.com, you will be able to join our Beautiful Brown Girls social network. So that's what it looks like on our website. Pretty much, if you click any button on there, it'll take you right over to the Brown Girls social network. And let me tell you, child, the things be popping over there. All right. So if you have not already gone there, we want to invite you to go. And that's what it looks like over on your mobile device. I have a couple quick announcements, and then I got a surprise for y'all. Okay, so let me do the announcements. First off, we want to make sure that you all join us for our watch party. Let me get this out the way here so that you all can see the things that are happening. So our next meetup is our Netflix watch party, where we are going to watch They Gotta Have Us. So that is going to be happening on the 25th. I want to say, I don't know what time. Christina, can you drop the time in the comments? Yeah, I completely had a brain fart about what time the watch party is going to be. But if you have not seen They Gotta Have Us, it is on Netflix, and we're going to be watching that together. So the way the watch party works is we're able to watch and chat all at the same time. So it's like the best of both worlds that we get to do. So that is going to be on July 25th. And then we also want to make sure that you all are taking advantage of our special right now. So we have our BBG July merch sale. So 10% off of a shirt using the code BBG Member July. BBG Member July. So use that code so you can get 10% off your shirt. And I've got one of the shirts on right here. I don't know if y'all can really see it. So, and it's got a hood and everything, y'all. I'll be out here like popping. Okay, y'all see me? Ow! Okay. So you want to get you one of those. They come in all the different colors so that you can get some of this brown girl magic. All right. So Christina said the watch party is on July 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific time. All right. So you want to make sure that you tune in to the watch party and that you go over to the website and get you some merch. Okay. All right. Now, before I do this, y'all, let me go ahead on and tell y'all about my surprise. I'm so excited. So, a lot of times we know that, y'all are over in the comments and, y'all are our people. Like, y'all here hanging out with us all the time. And it's super duper awesome. Y'all are very faithful. And we actually have a faithful member that has been hanging out with us in the comments on the regular. And she is actually officially joining the Beautiful Brown Girls family as a host. She is going to be working with some new programming that we have coming up because BBG is expanding, honey. So let's get her up in here and pull her out of these comments, child, so y'all can see. Hey, girl. Oh, wait, I still have you muted. OMG. There you are.
Oh.
They want to hear your So tell the people who you are, ma'am.
Hey, I am Aisha. I'm always here. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be a part of the BBG family now. I am Aisha. I still am out of Tampa, Florida, Kimberland. I am a mom to an amazing little guy who we affectionately call Thor. I'm an educator. I work with gifted students in my district. I'm sometimes model, sometimes dancer, and just, I'm just loving life. And so I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, honey, and we are happy to have you. I tell you.
And I gotta say, my niece is in the comments, so I'm so excited. Mad Cortez, that's my niece, and so I love you, girl. Mwah! I'm so excited that she's here and everybody else. So, hey, y'all.
So Tampa is representing. Tampa is like, ow, they in the comments, honey.
We ain't playing.
So that's where it's at. So Yes, yes. So, Aisha's niece, we need you to go ahead on and share the broadcast, okay,
Yes,
so that we can
girl.
get the fam up in here to hang out with us tonight. Okay. So the people are love. They say they love your energy,
Oh,
honey.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Thank
yes. All
you.
around beautiful brown girl. Yes, that's what's up.
Oh,
So Aisha is going to hang out with us today on Brown Conversations as we unpack all this stuff that is happening, y'all, in this
so
brown
much.
brown world that we are living in. Is all types of things that are popping off here. So I am doing a lot over here, y'all. So y'all give me some grace, okay? Because I'm trying to get the things together, child. Look, I'm like, hold on. Let me make sure I got your IG name up here, girl, so the people can go and follow you and all
All
the
this.
things. Okay. So you ready to jump into this?
I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do it. There's so much,
All
so
right.
much.
So, usually we start out every show, we talk about the new releases that there are out. And it came to our attention this week that the Griot is actually launching a new podcast. It's called Dear Culture. And this show is, some of their staff members that are going to be working on it. So, people, let me see, some of their names are Natasha Alford, Blue Telusma, Garen, Keith Gaynor, Shayna Pinnock, Todd Johnson, Courtney Willis. I don't know if, or Wills, if any of those names ring a bell. But basically, what they're going to be doing on the show is talking about things that matter to Black people. They're making room for untold stories and Black voices, which are often ignored. And one of the things that they said they want to focus on is uncovering the unique challenges that Black women face when telling their
Hmm.
stories of sexual harassment and assault. So I think this is pretty dope. I don't, do you follow
That
the griot, Aisha?
a little bit, a little bit. Not as much, but a little bit. And I mean, I gotta say this. I'm gonna definitely be following this because one of the things it's so hard, and we've talked about this before that as Black women, we are the strong Black women, and we're not supposed to be vulnerable in any way.
Right,
And
right.
when we have these same challenges as any other woman, it's so quick for society. We're not believed, or there's counter arguments and all these things. So we get silenced, and it's not fair. It's
Hmm.
not right. And so this is going to be just a great way for our voices to get heard for these things that matter so much. So
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
excited for this.
excited. Me too. I am not a big podcast listener, right? I listen to music, but I don't necessarily listen to podcasts. But I think
Yeah.
I might listen to this one just because I think it gives, like you said, it amplifies our voices. So
Hmm.
I think that'll be pretty cool. So then we also found out that the new movie, John Lewis, Good Trouble, is streaming now and it's over on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And this happened right on the heels of the passing of Senator John Lewis, which is so crazy because a few days before he passed, someone had put out on the internet that he had already passed. So John Lewis is an alumnus of Fisk University, so that is my alma mater, and he is a proud son, ever on the altar. So we always, talk about him. So we were like, John Lewis
Slow
did
down.
not die. Like, what are y'all
Woo.
doing? And Roland Martin had to put out a correction. And then, sure enough, a couple days later, we
Hmm.
heard of his passing. So, definitely want to honor his legacy. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
are not very familiar with his story, John Lewis was very instrumental in the civil rights movement. Here he is pictured in front of the Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. So that was a place where this is actually him, where he was participating in that march with Dr. King, and he actually is infamous for incurring a lot of injuries during that march. But he took all of that social action and then launched into his political career. So had a very long stint in Congress as a senator. So rest in peace to him. And
And I
then, what were you
and
about
I'll
to say?
say I watched right after he passed because I was heartbroken. I watched it. If you haven't gotten a chance, it was filmed back in 2015, and I think it debuted in 2017 or something like that. But it's on Amazon Prime. It's called From Obama to Selma. And when
Mm,
President Obama and the First Family, on the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday with the Freedom
right.
Riders and John Lewis, they take that march. They walk across that bridge again with Senator Lewis there and
Hmm.
several of the other congressmen at the time. And just to hear Obama speak again, girl, was
I know.
like,
I
yes,
know. Look,
yes,
we'll give
please.
anything for that job.
Yes. But to hear him and to see, Representative Lewis, on that bridge, it's so powerful. So, and
Yeah.
yes, Teresa asked, do you think the Pettus Bridge should be renamed after him? There's that petition going around right now
Mhm.
to rename that. So, we'll see what happens with that.
I think it would be a really good idea. I think it would be a great honor, and a great encapsulation of his legacy if they
Yeah.
would, because Pettis, I don't feel should continue to be honored. So why
Nope.
not name it after Congressman Lewis? I think that would be amazing. So
Yeah.
we got to find the petition so that we can sign it.
I
And
think I found that. Somebody sent that to me, so I will find that again and post it on the BBG page because I signed it.
perfect.
I was like, yes, please.
Perfect, perfect. So then after that, we got news that CT Vivian passed.
Woo!
Um, so he also was very instrumental in the civil rights fight. So we
Hmm.
have a couple pictures of him as well. Freedom Riders, you just mentioned a moment ago. So it's we're losing all of our civil rights leaders, and we know that they're getting up in age, but we're losing
Yeah.
them. Yeah, yeah. So rest in peace to him as well. So then we got word this past week. Oh my gosh, so many things are happening.
Woo!
So Tamar Braxton was rushed to the hospital, they think, after a possible suicide attempt. So her boyfriend found her unresponsive, called 911, and said that she had been drinking and taken an unknown amount of prescription pills.
Mm.
So he believes that it was a possible suicide attempt. Um, so we want to definitely keep her in our thoughts and prayers. She was transported to the hospital in downtown LA. And yeah,
And her family released a statement, but I mean, it was just, please keep her in your thoughts. She's had a very hard day. Just that there were no specifics or anything like that
mm,
about, what she may be struggling with that brought her to this.
right.
But, we certainly hope whatever those struggles are, she finds the help and the answers and the support that she needs so much. So, our hearts go
Yeah.
out to her and the Braxton family.
Absolutely. And Christina said people are on the brink right now for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
So in full transparency, I talked to my therapist earlier today, right? Because I have had like transition after transition after transition, just
Yeah.
the things, right? And while I was talking to her, I think it just all hit me of
Hmm.
everything that have been going on. And you just mentioned a little bit ago about how, as Black women, we're just so used to carrying all this stuff
Everything.
and we're not talking. So she even asked me, she's like, well, who are you talking to about what's
Yeah.
happening? Like, what's going on with you? Who's your support system? And I was like, I mean, I be talking a little bit, but I mean, I don't really know how to explain it, and it just turned into a thing. And I was like, I need to do better. Like, I
And
need to do better.
we always have that mindset of, well, I don't want to burden anybody, and if she is anything like so many of us, she's got businesses and the show and the
Right.
boyfriend and all of that. I don't want to burden anybody. I can do this. We can't do it all. We
Right.
can't,
Yeah.
and that's what drives someone to such measures like this. And we don't want to see that for anybody.
Yeah, so definitely, we urge you all. I think we definitely have to practice what we preach, right? And I
Yes.
felt like
Yes.
I felt some type of way because I'm like, I'm a whole life coach out here. I say these things to my clients all the time, right? But I think it's very different when it's at your own front door.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
definitely urge you all, take the time, number one, to breathe and make sure you are practicing your self-care measures. But if you need to talk to somebody, pick up the phone, send that message, say something, right?
Right.
Because people are on the brink. I actually had a friend of mine that a few weeks ago, we had to like mobilize the brown girl family to go and check on her to make sure that she was
Wow.
okay. But I was so glad that she said something. I just
Yes.
so happened to check on her that day, and she was like, I'm not okay.
Yep.
And, asking the right questions, asking someone, are you having suicidal thoughts? Asking that question is not going to put the idea in their head.
No. No.
It is really, because if they are thinking about committing suicide, they're going to do it
No
regardless,
matter
right?
what.
So it's not that you're going, or they're going to attempt to do it. So it's not that you're going to give them the idea of it, but you need to ask so that you are sure about what's actually happening. So
And just by asking, sometimes that gives that person the door to walk through to say, yes, this is what I'm thinking. This is the help.
right,
Because most of the time, statistically, people who are having those thoughts and do attempt, and unfortunately some that are successful, the people in their lives go, I had no idea. They seem
right,
so happy because
right,
they're not going to volunteer that information. We, as their loved ones, have to say something to them, say
yeah,
something, ask something to them to give them that okay to say, yes, I can talk about this. Oh, and I see you put the suicide hotline up there.
hmm,
So I just heard on the radio today, I was like, the time factor of this is amazing. I just heard on the radio today that I want to say by 2022, I
hmm,
think 2021, 2022, they are actually shortening the suicide hotline to 3 digits
that would be phenomenal.
because people have said that 10-digit phone number is too much to
Right,
three
right.
digits.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm excited that that's coming because I honestly think that it seems so insignificant. It's a few numbers, but
Hmm.
it's really going to make a big difference for
Yeah,
people. So
because
that's
who has
coming.
time to do a Google search and all that kind of stuff to try to figure, you know what I mean? So
Nope.
thinking like 211 is the crisis helpline, 911 is, for
Yep.
emergencies, 411 was information. Like, this is a thing.
And I
So
want
it
to say
needs.
it was something simple like 986 or something very
Hmm.
simple like that. Like it started with 9. And I'm terrible with numbers. So the fact that I can even remotely remember it and heard it once, that
Yeah.
says something. So
So you all, if you are someone is struggling and they are having suicidal thoughts, let's normalize having these conversations. Give them the information for the suicide hotline so that we can help them to get some help, right? So sometimes we got to be the ones to stand in the gap. So let's be committed to doing that. So we know that Tamar used to be on The Real, right? And they have had a lot of changes happening over on The Real. So this picture is back from when Tamar was on the team. So then Tamar left, and then Amanda Seals came, right? Then a couple shows ago, we told you all that Amanda Seals has decided that she's not returning.
yeah.
And now we have heard that Tamara is not returning either. So we are down to just three ladies. So I don't know what that's going to look like with them moving forward. But
Or
Tamara,
if they replace her.
right. Because
Yeah.
it would have been, they were trying to go to the five, but then
Hmm.
so there's a lot of transition that's happening there. So Tamara put out a statement, and her statement was in regard to her leaving, but also in regard to the tragic death of Naya Rivera. So, Naya was an actress, a mom, seemed to be an all around light to many people that she came into
Yeah.
contact with, and she was just found after having saved. Seems like the story is that she had tried to save her son. They had
Yeah.
rented a boat, and she had jumped out of the boat to try to save her son and pushed him
Well,
onto the boat, and
they
then got
were
caught up or something.
from what I've read is, I mean, it's so, like I mentioned in my opening, I'm a mom, and my little guy is close to the same age as her, as Naya's son. So that this whole thing, I just was like, it hit me. What it was is they were at some lake, and they were out swimming. They had rented a pontoon boat. When they didn't return with the pontoon boat to return it on time, I guess the boat owner went looking for him. And what he
Mhm.
finds is this little 4-year-old boy in his life vest on this boat, her life vest on the boat. And
Mm.
the little boy kind of filled in the details for him that they
Mhm.
went swimming, and she helped him on the boat, and he turned around and basically mommy was gone.
Yeah.
And you really, I mean, drowning is no joke. That is
Right.
not a way. Oh my goodness. So her last moments must have been, scary. But my heart goes out to this little boy because what he saw, what he's able to comprehend at his age, and what's
Mhm.
going to stay with him as he matures. I just hope he is surrounded by light and love and
Yeah.
so much support because he's going to need it too. So
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, he filled in those gaps. So
he's
that,
4.
yeah, that is a lot. So what I didn't know is that Tamara, so this is her statement
Yeah.
here, and basically, she's saying that she is leaving the real, but that she really didn't want to get into it
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't realize, this happened on the same day that they found
Naya.
Naya's body. And I didn't realize how close they were,
Yeah.
that they were really friends. So we went into the archives to like, what? They were really close. So here are some pictures of this is when Naya was on the reel, and the two of them, so Tia and Tamara. So that was Tamara's post, and then this is Tia's post. So they really were really good friends. And then you told me about the fact that she used to date Taj, their little
Yeah.
brother.
So it wasn't like, you see a lot of people in Hollywood and they're like, oh yeah, we're friends. No, you're not. Like, you work together. Y'all don't really like each other. You post some pictures. This was a deep, genuine, honest to goodness. Like, she grew up with a family. She was considered family. That picture is shown there. Her first job was on some kid show or whatever with Taj.
Yeah.
Taj was like her first boyfriend. He went on and he posted a bunch of things about her, just how she was always his first love, and he will always hold so much, honor and love and respect for her. And so this really, so the timing of Tamara's announcement, it's unfortunate. And she
Hmm.
even says people were already starting to talk about her leaving the reel. So she didn't
Hmm.
have a choice. Like, her
Right.
hand was forced. She had to put it out there, but she didn't want to because
Yeah.
she almost felt it was disrespect to her friend. So it's a hard thing. So I mean, the Maori family is really feeling this loss too.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see. So, in full transparency, again, sometimes y'all know the internet's be hating, right? So it is not pulling up your comments over on our platform, but I see
I
them on
know.
my phone. So I see y'all talking over here, but they're basically saying that it's really sad. And Teresa said Tamara must be beside herself.
Oh
She
yeah.
lost her because she also had lost her niece in a shooting in
Mm-hmm.
California just a little bit ago, right? So
Woo.
even again, we've talked about grief before. We've held a mental health panel with some of our brown girl mental health specialists and talking about
Mm-hmm.
grief. So the fact that compound grief, like things that continue to
Right.
happen on top of things, on top of things, on top of things, can really become a lot. So this loss, Naya's family, I had a statement from them that I wanted to read because it was
Oh.
really, really sweet. They said, "We're so grateful for the outpouring of love and prayers for Naya, Josie, and our family over the past week. While we grieve the loss of our beautiful legend, we are blessed to honor her everlasting legacy and magnetic spirit. Naya was an amazing talent, but was an even greater person, mother, daughter, and sister. Thank you to the men and women of Ventura, Tulare, and San Luis County Sheriff's Departments for your commitment and unwavering effort to find Naya. We extend endless gratitude and ovation to the heroine who found her. Thank you to her friends, colleagues, and fans for your continuous support. Having gained our sassy angel, we kindly request that our privacy be respected during this very difficult time." So she clearly
And
was a light.
it's clear. I mean, from everything you people are posting, like, she had her troubles at one point. She's human. Let's be clear here. but nobody had a single bad word to say. I mean,
Hmm.
it was how much joy she brought, how much laughter she brought,
Yeah.
and that's a really beautiful thing. Like that, we all hope that we leave that kind of legacy to those that we
Yes.
come in contact with. So,
Yes.
really quick, I hope I'm saying this right. Ayudel said in the comments that
Mm.
Tamara also lost her grandmother recently, and we'll see if this is true. That the dynamic of the real can't recover from Tamara leaving, and she thinks the show will end. So
Mm.
we'll see if that's the case.
Yeah.
If they try to replace Tamara, and again, in the meantime, our thoughts and prayers are with the Rivera family
For sure. And I do
for
want to give a
sure.
shout out to our BBG community in these comments because they are rallying around each other right now, even as we're talking,
Oh,
and lending an ear and saying, I'll check on you. You can talk to me. That's what this is about, you all. This community is
yes.
really for us.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us have never met each other in person, but
Yeah.
the love that we have and that we try to curate here at Beautiful Brown Girls is just about that. So I was
Yeah.
seeing it as it was happening, but I do want to say thank you all for having the heart of Beautiful Brown Girls because that's definitely what this all is about. So moving on to some things that are happening in the fashion world. So Beverly Johnson was in the
Sweet.
news just this past week about
Mm-hmm.
talking about racism in the fashion industry, and she's trying to use her platform to call for changes. She rose to fame as the first Black American model to appear on the cover of Vogue in 1974. And one of the things that she talked about is how they told her she would never be on the cover of Vogue because she was Black. She talked about how she had gone to photo shoots and she would have to get in the pool. And after getting out of the pool, they drained the pool because she was in
Mm-hmm.
the pool because she was Black. So
Yeah.
she has really made a call to talk about requesting Black hairstylists on set. So this was her Vogue cover here. Now, the people
Beautiful.
might not know this, right? But Aisha and I met in the modeling world. So
Yes, we
we both
did.
modeled in Tampa. And this is something that we talk about all the time, Aisha. So I feel like you tell the story really funny. So tell the people what it's like on a set when we're trying to figure out
So
hair and makeup and things.
it's so bad. It's so bad. So and for me personally, and Kimberland knows this, I am notorious for pretty much trying to be the dead last person to get my hair and makeup done. Because now I'm biracial, so I'm light skinned. So a lot of times makeup artists are like, "Oh, we're just gonna throw the light stuff on her." I end up looking like a ghost. And hair, so my hair is straight today, but it is naturally, I'm relaxer free, all that stuff free, curly, curly, curly. So I come sit down in the chair and they're like, "Oh, let's put some water on it." Let's not. Please don't do that. Take that water bottle
Let's
away. Go
not.
now. And I like want to get up. I had one hairdresser. I was like this. I kept leaning away as he was trying to do whatever he was doing to my hair. It's so hard, and I don't know why. There are so many amazing Black makeup artists, hairstylists. My hairstylist, I love her. When I first started to go to her, I called because I needed a new hairstylist. They tell me her name and she does not have the most common name, but I was like, you never know. My
Mhm.
accountant's name is Tamika and she white with blonde hair.
Oh
So
wow.
I don't yeah, I don't prejudge anybody's name.
Mhm.
So he tells me her name and I asked her, I said, I don't mean to be rude, but is she Black? And he kind of laughed and like uncomfortably and goes, yeah. I said, okay, I'll go to her then.
Mhm.
There are so many good ones out there, but they are doing us women of color such a disservice, and I have no idea why. So I love that somebody like Beverly Johnson, who is just phenomenal and gorgeous and has been around for so long, is using her platform to say, hey,
Yeah.
you need to take care of your Black models and your makeup artists, and let's put them together, and your hairstylists, because otherwise we come out looking crazy.
Crazy girl. crazy. I remember
You
having,
and I both have been the victim of some hair.
child, I remember showing up with a twist out, and child, they combed the whole daggone twist out. Like, oh my God, we can show y'all some pictures of absolutely
Oh,
ridiculous things. So I appreciate that, but I want to add another layer to this because Simone Biles was in the news
oh.
about her magazine cover. So she was on the cover of Vogue as well, and the article that they're writing about is about her overcoming abuse and all of that, right? But the shoot came under fire because Annie Leibovitz is the photographer that they
Mm-hmm.
hired to do this shoot. So everybody is talking about the lighting, right? So this is one of the pictures.
And
And
that's the, and for those that haven't seen it, that's the actual picture.
yeah, like
Like
this the
we didn't
actual
change the lighting on it. Yeah, that's her picture.
child. So then these are the other two pictures, right? Which may not look so bad, but what I want to do is show you side by side images of fixes that people did. So
Right there.
this is a fix, right? So all over Twitter, all over Instagram, all over the Facebook, people are like, yo, in 10 minutes on my iPhone, I was able to color
Mhm.
correct this, right? Here is another one. So
And that one, I'll be honest, that one is the correction on that one is stunning. Like, can I hire that person and their iPhone, please?
oh my God. So she said that's horrible lighting. It is past horrible. Like, so the
Mm-hmm.
comments have overwhelmingly been about how her color is muted, how she is meant to look ashy, how there is like this spooky type of undertone to the whole photo, right? Which is really interesting because right now I just wrote a training called Disrupting Systemic Racism in our classrooms. And our next session, we're going to talk about media influence on race. And it immediately made me think about how she is not being depicted in her best light, right? Literally, pun intended, that
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
being depicted in this way that causes people to feel some type of way about how she looks, to take away her shine and to take away her brightness. Like
right.
this feels very intentional to me. And we
Well, it
definitely
it
feel some type
was.
of way.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, and so I wanted because Annie Leibovitz is like Vanity Fair's
World renowned.
go-to photographer, world renowned. Like I don't know why. Like there are other photographers, but whatever. So I wanted to see like what did she have to say? What did Vanity Fair have to say for her? So when you said it was intentional, you're right.
Mm.
And they made a statement. Vanity Fair made a statement. I don't think Leibovitz. I don't think I read anything from her, but Vanity Fair made a statement that the reason the lighting was this way was to depict the kind of sullen nature and
Mm-hmm.
the sullen mood of what Simone had recently been going through
Mm-hmm.
with the court case against the USA gymnastics doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for those that don't know, Simone Biles and several other gymnasts, there was a court case against this doctor for USA gymnastics.
Mm-hmm.
He'd been the gymnastics doctor for years, about molestation
Mm-hmm.
and sexual harassment and things like that. So their claim is that this lighting was to reflect that tone. And to me, like, okay, there's your reasoning. It's garbage. Like,
Yeah,
you can still have mood lighting to reflect that tone and not make someone look bad.
exactly.
And that's where my problem with it is.
So they're over here in the comments and they're like, she could have been
Oh yeah.
photographed better. They do dark skinned Black women so wrong in the media.
Mhm.
She's way too
Oh yeah.
beautiful for her pictures to come out like that. Even the styling, right? So looking at her hair,
Yeah.
I feel like they could have styled her hair. It's just it's a
Makeup,
totality
something.
of things
Yeah.
that are just off for me. So to your point about this, the mood, right? So then we
Mhm.
look at
Vogue, sorry.
we look at this. So here we have Viola Davis. right? Who is
Yep.
on the cover of Vanity Fair. Okay. And she had a cover interview, but what we see is the dramatic mood lighting, right? So I want you to
Yes.
look at this, right? And then we're going to go back and look at this.
That's not mood lighting. That's lack of lighting. And I had said Simone was on Vanity Fair. I mixed them up. I apologize. But yeah, you can have that mood lighting that Viola Davis had to reflect that tension and that angst that Simone's been going through, and still make her look beautiful. Still make her look like that Olympic champion that she is.
Yeah.
And Annie just didn't do that
At all. At all. So
at
this
all.
photographer for Vanity Fair of Viola Davis is a black photographer. Go figure. So
Black man,
exactly. So
which I
their
love.
editor, Radhika Jones, she wrote that there have only
Mm-hmm.
been 17 Black people who've been on the cover in 35 years between 1983 and 2017. And she was determined to fix the lack of representation when she took over the job. So they hired
Good
Dario
for her.
Camis, is the guy who
Mm-hmm.
is the photographer for this. And he channeled this picture of the scourged back. So again, to the point of somber, sullen, like there's nothing good about this,
Yes.
right? But this dramatic
No.
mood lighting here where she still gets to be captured in her glory. So this is the
Yes.
photographer, Mr. Calmes, who is it's the first time that a black photographer has shot the cover
Mm-hmm.
of Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can be done.
Which
Our
is
point.
just, I mean, and I think Annie's, there's the cover photo of Simone with her back. So she had, like, you had the opportunity to do something amazing. And honestly, I feel like that opportunity was squandered because either she didn't know, she didn't care. I lean more towards she didn't care. Like, hey, we put a black woman, on the cover of Vogue. So kudos to us. It takes a little more than that. Like, let's put some thought and some care into how you represent us.
Yeah.
And that wasn't there.
And he did. Teresa said he nails it. Karen
He
over at
did
the watch
amazing.
party, she said Annie is creative, but it did not show up there. No, it did not. All
And she
right.
is. That's why they keep using her. But
Face. Moving on.
there you
So
go.
um,
Woo!
Nick Cannon has been in the news over the course of this past week. There has been a lot that has been said about comments that he made that people are calling anti-Semitic. And I put that in quotes because it seems like the jury is kind of out about whether whether the comments are anti-Semitic or not. But he was fired from Viacom, CBS. Fox kept him and said that
Yes.
they were cool with him. He has asked for the rights to Wildin' Out. He's been offered to have Wildin' Out on Revolt TV from Puffy, on OWN TV from Oprah. Since all of that happened, he issued an apology. So it's a lot. And I know that you have done a lot of research in this area. So what I wanted to see if you could help us to understand what was the issue with all of it, because I can't find his original statement in its totality or
There's a reason.
original thing in its totality anymore. So I only have like bits and pieces that I'm going from. So I know like you were like on this when it first started. So can you kind of help us understand why this could be an issue and talk to us like we're five?
I won't talk to you like you're fine, but I'm gonna do my best to try not to jump around too. So there's a reason. You said that you can't find it right now in its totality. There's a reason. Apparently, he or whoever, CBS, Viacom, whoever, they pulled it. So no, you will not be able to find the video footage of it in its totality. And what I find really interesting, and I didn't know this at first, is this was actually filmed a year ago.
Oh.
And I believe it played a year ago, and he just re-aired it. Now, my first question is, why did we not hear anything a year ago?
Right.
And why Yeah, and why did he think that it was okay to re-air it? But that's beside the point. So,
So keep talking,
um,
Aisha. I'm going to refresh to see if I can get these comments back on our thing because it's a lot of them coming in.
okay,
Keep
okay.
talking. Keep talking. I'll be right
I
back.
see. I'm like, I'm looking at them on my phone. So, okay. So I didn't know, like, I'm not a huge podcast person. I didn't see the podcast initially. But for those of you familiar, it was on his podcast, Cannon's Class. And I'm looking to make sure I get all my notes. He had one of the segments on there. He was interviewing Richard Griffin. And if that name doesn't ring a bell to you, because I wouldn't have known either, it's Professor Griff, who was one of the original members from Public Enemy. So while they're having this discussion, Nick Cannon, he's doing a few things that, a lot of Jewish people, it would raise some questions and make you go, ah. He's praising the Nation of Islam and Louis Farrakhan, who have frequently come out against Jews and said some anti-Semitic things. Nick Cannon goes on to talk about conspiracy theories about Jewish people. And some of the things that he specifically mentions are things like decentralized banking, and he refers to bloodlines that control everything, which has to do with this family called the Rothschild. And there's still, I want to say, a Rothschild investment group today that you can, be a part of.
I've heard of that.
That is something, the Rothschild is something that for a lot of Jewish people is a trigger. And the reason it's a trigger, and just as a side note here, I know in the opening we're like, are these anti-Semitic? I heard Charlemagne the God do an interview with Andrew Schultz, I think is his name, today on his show, whatever. And he says something really that stuck with me, that we can't say what's offensive to someone else to another group of people.
Correct.
So when Jews come out and say, hey, this is offensive to us, we gotta stop and listen.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons that this is offensive, and when he talks about that centralized banking, is he's talking about the Rothschilds, who in the 18th century started their family in Frankfurt, Germany, huge banking family. And it kind of grew and grew and grew, and there's a lot of them in this family. And it's, again, something that they're very well known and influential in the banking community even today. The problem is, back in the medieval times, Jews got involved in money because they had to. There was something called the usury laws, which were laws from the Catholic Church that said Christians could not lend money and charge interest, especially to other Christians. Jews at the time were relegated to jobs that Christians were barred from. So if you can't lend money, guess what? That's the only job I can do. That's the job I'm going to do. So what happened was Jews got involved in money. Rothschild family came along in the 18th century. It kind of they kept going. In Germany at the time, we all know what happened in Germany, the Holocaust. The Rothschilds, the Jews, their kind of influence in banking was used as huge propaganda for Hitler. It was used as propaganda to turn people against the Jews, to say they're greedy, they're miserly, they're stingy, they're all these things when it comes to money. They're the reason that you can't make a dollar. All of these things, and it was used to help people kind of perpetuate the violence around Jews. So when Nick Cannon starts talking about this, Jewish people go, stop, triggered, and you don't know what you're talking about. Because it's not that Jews were like, I want to take a monopoly here. It's they didn't have a choice. This was the job you did. So what he's doing, and the other thing I didn't know is Nick Cannon came at this having read some book by some white lady that was full of nothing but pseudo fake science, stuff that you couldn't prove, and wanted to take it as fact. And when it's not fact, he didn't do the research to know who he was talking about. He had, I mentioned, I think I said Professor Griff on the podcast. Anybody that knows Professor Griff knows he is notorious. He hates Jews. He has said he got kicked out of Public Enemy for saying Jews are wicked. He's like, and I can prove it. And they revisited that. So Nick supported somebody who is known to be anti-Semitic. He's out there talking about stereotypes that are anti-Semitic. He talks about Jews being the lighter-skinned people, lumps them in with white people and Europeans, and says Jews are, the ones committing violence. Talks about Jews having deficiencies, which is another big, huge um, stereotype that was used by white people against Jews. Just like we, as Black people, were called 3/5 of a person.
Right.
Jews were said to have inferior non-white racial characteristics, and that was used to fuel propaganda and violence against them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So she's out there, all these myths and things.
Yeah, what I can say is I'm woefully ignorant in this area, right? And I know whenever I try to have a conversation with someone about the Israel-Palestinian situation and about like my head just explodes. Like it's a lot. And anybody who knows me knows that history and geography is not my jam. So then I just be like, I can't do the thing. But back to your point of we cannot tell somebody what is offensive to them. I hear that, right? I hear that. And I think that many of us probably need to do some research in this area to understand the nuances, because what I basically hear you saying is the issue is in the conspiracy theories and in the lumping in of Jews with whites, which I told you, when I see Jewish people, when I think Jewish, I think white. So I don't know the difference, right? And I also think of Jewish as a religion, not as a race.
And he tried, well, we know race is a human construct. Like, race doesn't really exist. It's, you know, he even tried at one point, like, I feel like through this podcast, he knew he might be getting into treacherous territory, because he even says at one point, you know, I can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are the original Semites, which isn't necessarily true. There are Black Jews, but the Semite, for those that don't know, refers to languages. So the Semitic people were the people that spoke Hebrew, Yiddish, Aramaic, Arabic.
But don't those people come from the Middle East, right? Aren't those people of color?
They do. So they look more Arabic. We know Nick Cannon, when he says our Black people, he's talking about like darker skinned Black people. There are some Black Jews because some of the original 12 tribes traveled down to Ethiopia. So we have some, but they weren't the original. Like the original were your lighter skinned Arab and your whiter looking, your Russian Jews, because he mentions Ashkenazi at one point, which are Russian Jews. So yeah, typically they're your white people. And Teresa had mentioned in the comments that Nick apologized and even called and got guidance and counseling from a rabbi. He did, but the problem is, number one, a lot of people don't want to hear that he apologized. They're going to say that, you know, CBS Viacom made him or Fox made him apologize. So they're going to dismiss that. They're going to listen to the rhetoric that he said with Professor Griff. And the other thing, too, is during the podcast, he kind of went on a rant or a tangent about how, you know, Professor Griff you're hated because you told the truth. And he even starts to defend himself that, you know, I'm only speaking truth right now. No, bruh.
But it was a lot of conspiracy.
You're speaking myths. You're speaking misinformation.
My head is swimming right now.
You know, I want to pull up. I don't know if you can pull up.
The comments aren't letting
Jennifer even says, she said, even now I won't. Oh, I know. I'm reading Jennifer. She says, even now, I won't tell people I'm Jewish at first because I get hit with these lines sometimes. There's a huge historical stereotype, money grubbing Jews.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and hearing like grown-ups talking and somebody saying the phrase, I Jewed him down. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
So that meant negotiated?
Have you heard that?
No. But
no.
Context clue.
That's not negotiated. That's like, I cheated him, or not even necessarily I cheated him, but I got to hold on to my money. It feeds into that stereotype of Jews being stingy with money. So she goes on to say that she's even been asked where her horns and her tail are.
Oh, wow. So
because Jews have been demonized. So like for him to do this and then to come back and say, you know, I was trying to uplift my people. You don't uplift your people by bringing down another group of people. You don't do that.
So I see a lot of
comments, so I'm glad he apologized and got guidance. But
Right.
yeah,
I see a lot of comments where, and I wanted to highlight, let me see, Myra said, we need to do our own research and gain understanding. There are many different views on the subject. I agree. Like I said, I am woefully ignorant, not willfully, woefully, ridiculously ignorant
yeah,
on this topic. But I definitely
it's a
want
lot.
it is like, it is. My head is spinning in real life.
Hmm.
But we definitely wanted to highlight this just because it is something that's happening, and I think anytime that a group of people says that they are offended by something, that we should try to figure out what the offense is, and
Listen,
that comes through
yes,
education. And yeah, it's a lot. So we're gonna put a pin in that and kind of follow this and see where this goes. But yeah, a lot of you are saying that Jewish people marched with Dr. King and all of that. I got to do more research, y'all. It's a lot. So yeah, this wow.
you are gonna be when you see some of the stereotypes, it's gonna make your head explode. Like
Yeah, I
it's
bet
crazy.
even more so.
Yeah.
So, it came to our attention that Regina King has partnered with Vaseline for
Yay.
COVID-19 relief. And basically, Vaseline is saying that they are going to give $1 million in donations for direct relief to support COVID-19 community health. So they pulled the gorgeous Regina King to be able to do that. So she has been online
Beautiful.
promoting that in all of her goodness and glory. And speaking of COVID-19, we just want to remind y'all that it's there. Okay, so every show we say this,
Wear your
like,
mask.
it's a thing. So this image just kind of shows where the fewer cases are in comparison to the ones with more. So we know that the United States is killing it right now, literally, pun intended. Um, as well as
And we
Brazil.
just
Those
got banned. We just got banned from traveling to the Bahamas. So no Bahama trips anytime soon
golly,
from anybody.
cheese
I
on
know.
peace.
I know.
So the United States is really not doing a good job, right? We're the
No.
laughing stock. But then we wanted to bring to your attention what's happening right in the United States, right? So I told y'all I had to get up out of Florida because let me tell you something.
I'm so ashamed.
Child, them people out there acting
So
like the COVID
ashamed.
19 ain't real, honey. And I was like, I cannot. So, as you see, the
Yeah.
red states are places where the cases are increasing, right? And then the blue states are places where there are strong decreases and decreases, right? So, your girl came right on up here, up north. I had to have my freedom. I had to have my freedom papers so I could get out with my test results. Like, yo, I'm cool. I promise. I took me a test. Like, it's all good. So we really want you all to be
Oh,
vigilant and really pay attention. Because any of you that are in Florida, this is what your life looking like right now. Okay.
and
Global epicenter.
the governor was just on today, and I was watching bits and pieces of it, saying how we know that the cases are rising, but we're doing great. No, no, we're not.
We're
We're
not.
really
It's
not.
not
I'm
great.
sorry.
Okay.
No.
It's not. So
But let's
we
reopen
just
schools.
want Right. So we just want to provide some data, right? So that you all can see what is actually happening. Christina said freedom papers. Yes, girl. I was like, listen, I took a test, like negative. Let me out. But
I'm with Karen. Karen Davis says she knows Lord Florida's lost its mind. I'm so ashamed. I am right there with you, girl.
in real life, it is
I
crazy.
don't know what.
So again, we want to make sure that you all don't get gaslit and get caught up in the foolishness
Yeah.
of them saying that COVID-19 is not real. It is real. It is definitely a thing. It is
Yep.
definitely happening. People are dying in real life. So make sure that you are wearing
Mm-hmm.
your mask. Don't get lazy, right? And we had a question from one of our viewers. Is this the same Karen? This might be Karen that asked this. Karen said, do you
Different
think
Karen, but yeah, she's in the comments too.
do you think restaurants should post if they've had COVID-19 exposure? So, our question to you all is, are you going out to eat? Right? Are you still going out to eat? One. And then two, what what you need to have happen in order to feel comfortable going out to
Right.
eat. So the premise, the thinking behind all of this, and it's been from the beginning that they've been saying patronize the restaurants, small businesses, blah, 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 because we think that the
Economy.
restaurants are going to adhere to these health guidelines, right? But what I can tell you, y'all, last week I went to get some tacos. Okay. Y'all know I love the tacos. I'm sitting in my car trying to call in my order because I don't really want to go inside. So I'm watching the guy come out of the place. It's like a food truck type place ish. So he comes out of
Mhm.
the place where you go take the order. He goes over to the food truck to get somebody's food, walks back in, opens the door, gloves on hand, opens the door, gives person their food. So by this time I'm inside, right? So I watch him walk out again, push the door open, gloves on hand, come back in, opens door with gloves, then goes up to the cash register and he's like, "How can I help you?" I'm gonna need you to change them gloves, is what I'm gonna need to have happen. Okay. So what do you all need? Like, do you need, because who is even inspecting these places to make sure that they're following the guidelines? Like, what do y'all need to have
They're
happen
not.
to feel comfortable to eat out?
They're not. I mean, as far as I know, nobody's inspecting them. Like, you get like a health inspector to make sure like you don't have bugs and stuff like that.
Right.
You can be clean and not have bugs, but still not be following the CDC guidelines or the health code guidelines for this. This is a totally different beast. And most places, I don't think, they are. Like, I haven't been out to eat in a restaurant, at a restaurant. I wish. I miss
Mm-hmm.
some of my favorite restaurants. And the day that I'm finally able to go back, I'm gonna act a fool. I'm gonna tell you right
Mm-hmm.
now, I'm ordering everything. But no, they're not being. And then they don't even have to. I don't think they have to shut down. Like if they have a positive case, they don't have to shut down for a full 14 days.
No, they
They
don't. They
only, I
just shut
think
down
they,
for a couple, and then
yeah,
they say they did a deep clean.
clean.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
But who's checking at it?
So
Who's checking at is deep? Who's checking that the COVID is gone? Like, so that's my thing. So I see
nobody.
quite a few of you saying that you're doing takeout, Uber Eats, which I
Yep.
I I did Uber Eats as well, but then I thought about that. I don't know this Uber Eats person. They could be in there with all type of cooties. Like, so I just was like, I'm a cook. Like, I can't, y'all. The way that my COVID paranoia is set up, like I can't even do it. So I see people saying they'll eat
See,
out, but a few
I
folks
don't
have
cook.
said they need a cure. That's what they need to go to the restaurant, a
Okay.
cure.
See, I don't cook, but my husband knew that when we got married, so it wasn't a shock. He's never cooked so much now that he works from home and with all this. So I want to pull up this comment really quick. Roberta says that there are some restaurants where you must eat with gloves on in
Oh,
Vegas.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
I,
interesting.
I don't. Are the people who cooking the food, are they wearing gloves? Are they changing
Right,
gloves? What do my gloves have to do with? Yeah,
right.
that.
That's
I
interesting.
mean, if that's a
Very
precaution,
interesting.
okay, but mm,
Yeah. So, y'all be careful out there. So
please,
we are
please.
still looking for justice for Brianna Taylor. Her murderers still have not been arrested. But there has been a website that has been created and it's called forbrianna.com. Now, this website is super cool because it allows you to set reminders for you to email or call to demand justice. So you literally go to forbrianna.com, you can click on the calendar and it will remind you to send an email or call, which is
Mhm.
super cool. So definitely appreciated that coming up. And there's also
Yeah.
I'm going to drop this into the comments. There is a link that if you utilize the link, it will do the pre-populated email for you to send, so you'll be able, you don't even have to type anything, just your name, like,
Yep.
and now. So that is pretty cool as well. So we want to make sure we continue to stay on top of this, continue to keep this in our minds. There was actually a protest for Brianna Taylor, and this is Yandy Smith, Tamika Mallory, who is one of the founders of the Black Lives Matter movement, and Portia Williams. They got arrested at the rally. So they, didn't do it to get arrested, but they were like, if we gonna get arrested, it's gonna be for justice for Brianna, and we're not gonna stop until it happens. So
And why are we,
that's pretty dope.
and again, why are we arresting peaceful protesters? Because I want to say it was one of them. Their husband had filmed part of one of them getting arrested, and I watched it. And I'm like, you see the people around walking, holding signs. Nobody's doing anything, illegal. Nobody's, being violent in any way. Why are we arresting peaceful protesters? Like
Right.
that just can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Like somebody, and I say that as somebody who, my husband and I, we actively go protest.
Mm-hmm.
My son, his first protest was a Black Lives Matter protest at 2 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very proud of that. I don't bring him to a lot of protests because, he's little, but we know that whenever we go, we run the risk of having to call, somebody and say, hey, you got bail money? But it's ridiculous that peaceful protesters, that's our right. We have that right to protest.
Absolutely. So
use it. If you feel comfortable, use it.
Speaking of Black Lives Matter and arrests, so Mayor de Blasio in New York has arrested Karen and her cronies for continuing to deface the Black Lives Matter mural in front of Trump Tower. There actually has been a third vandalism of the Black Lives Matter mural, but he put out this tweet and he basically said that he's going to continue fixing it. And them vandalizing this is not going to stop the Black Lives Matter movement. And I really appreciated that. Because he's showing his commitment to making sure that we aren't silenced. So I thought that was pretty dope as well.
I love he says it's more than words. I mean, the movement is more than words, and that's true. That's true. Bring it on. We'll keep painting. We'll keep fighting. We'll keep doing everything. So
keep at it.
I hope, and I think they're going to be charged with a hate crime too.
I hope
something like that. Vandalism and hate. So yeah.
So we talked about this last show, and we want to provide an update and kind of just rest a little bit right here for a moment. So we talked about the entanglement, which we didn't know it was an entanglement at the time, between Jada Pinkett Smith and August Alsina. So Jada took herself to the red table with Will, and they talked about what happened with August Alsina. And Jada said that they had an entanglement. And Will kind of pressed her on that and was like, entanglement? So she's like, yeah. And he's like, a relationship? She's like, well, yeah, it was a relationship that she had. They also verified that they were separated at the time. So Will said that he was done with Jada, and they were separated when she had her entanglement with August. And then they eventually, Will and Jada, reconciled, and then August was on the outside of that. But there was this cringeworthy moment that they had during the red table talk, and they said, we ride together, we die together, bad marriage for life, fist bump.
No.
And I was like, I don't think that's goals for me. Like, I don't know. But your girl is not married, right? So Aisha is, right? So the question that we have, look, I know that marriage is hard, right? It is a thing. Like, it is work. Like, I just hear that all the time, right?
Yeah.
So to my married people, my question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard do you say that marriage is, right? That's the first question. Then the second question is, for those of us who are single, are you willing to sign up for hashtag bad marriage for life? Or are you like, I'm straight, I don't even want the thing? Just a question.
So I'm gonna tell you, on that scale of 1 to 10, I wish I could say that like it's a 1, it's so easy, or it's a 10, it's super. You can't. It depends, honestly. Like, Kimberland saw me before we started. My husband came in the room he was so sweet. He was like, good luck, honey. I love you. And I was all about no nerves. I was like, I love you. Get out. So in that moment, he might have been like, it's a 10. It's hard. But truthfully, all jokes aside, it depends on the day. It depends on what you're going through. I'm very open about what I kind of discuss with my husband and I. Just to give y'all background, we've been together for 14 years. Wow. Um, some days it feels like 5. Some days it feels like 3 days. Some days it feels like 100 years. But we've been together. Calendar says 14 years, and we've been married. This October will be our 11th year married. So in that time period, we've been through some stuff. Like there's, screaming, crying, door slamming. I don't know if I can go on. All of those things. And then you have your days. So on those days, yeah, it's a 10. It's when you're talking about children and, we're an interracial couple. So we have that challenge. It's a 10. It's a 20. There are other days, though, it's a 1. It's so easy. He is my best friend. He is the person I want to wake up to. I want to go to sleep to. So it depends on the day, and it depends on, what you're talking about. Here's the thing. Anybody that says it's always a 1, I love you, but I'm going to tell you, you're probably lying to yourself or you haven't been tested yet. Because our first year, we were like, this is so easy. And then stuff hit the fan, and we were like, uh-oh. I'm not #bad marriage for life. Let me tell you right now. If I ever thought that we could not come back from some of the things we were going through, peace out. It's been nice. Thank you for the lessons. I'll see you on the other side. We share a child. Let's do co-parenting. I'm not #bad marriage for life. And I don't think anybody should have to be.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like things get bad, go get a divorce. No. Try to work through it. Do know that at the end of the day, you did everything you could to make it work. Going out and having a relationship while you are separated on a break is not really trying to make it work. That's just my opinion.
They said they were done.
Here's my thing. If you say you're done, that's fine. Sign on the dotted line. Sign that piece of paper that says we are legally done. You do that, you go have whatever relationship you want. I don't care. I mean, it's not my relationship anyway. For me, if I'm done, I need to sign that paper because I couldn't go to sleep at night knowing I was holed up with somebody else. He's holed up with somebody else, but there's still a ring, and legally, I couldn't do that. That's just not the way I'm built. That's not the way we're built. To me, that's not trust. You have broken that foundation. There's a reason you wear a wedding ring. It's that circle, that never-ending bond.
Right.
You've broken that trust, and that's not something I could do. You know?
So there are a lot of comments here. So the married people apparently feel that, like you were saying, Aisha, that is day to day, and also that they are not team #bad marriage for life. Single people are out here like, child, I could do bad by myself, honey. I don't need no #bad marriage, honey.
I'm loving Michelle. I don't know if you can see it. Michelle's comment. She says they got enough money to be in a bad marriage for life. I don't. Girl, me neither.
Yes. And then Tracy Lynn just said, to your separated point, to me, separated is still married. I've always said you are married until you're not married anymore, right? So that has always been like my mantra. So entanglement though became the word. Like I have never been so tired of a word so fast. I mean, it was like a day. Like the doggone red table talk dropped at like 10 a.m. and by 12 noon, I was like, what is Jesus? Who is entangled? And had to go and see it, right? The memes, the
memes for this are hilarious.
So much. And to someone's point, they said that Will really loves her. Now, the one thing I did appreciate in everything that happened that they talked about is when Will said, Jada said that Will told her there is nothing that she could do to make him stop loving her. I appreciated that. That is the one thing that I was like, now see, because I feel like unconditional love is not something that we can really conceptualize. So I appreciated that statement in it all. I don't appreciate how she tested that. But I do
No,
appreciate the
no.
fact that he was willing to go into this marriage and say, I am going to love you no matter what. That's the one thing that I was like, okay, I can rock with. The rest, trash.
And
Don't want it.
I would ask him though, because I learned a long time ago. There's being in love, and there's loving. Like I can
Right.
love you, and then I can be in love with you. Those are two
Mm-hmm.
different things. So like you could, so I would ask him like, so you say that there's nothing she could do to stop you from loving her. Does that also mean and nothing she could do to stop you from being in love with her?
Mm.
Those are two different things.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
so I would just want to hear what he'd have to say, about that. But yeah, unconditional, but sometimes it don't work out. But like somebody said, separation is still marriage, and sign on that dotted line if you don't really want to be
Mm-hmm.
with that person anymore, and then go have whatever relationship you want.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's cheating. Like, call it what it is. It's cheating.
So then the plot twist
Or
in all of
entangled.
this is that Og released a song called Entanglements. And
Oh
it's
my
with him
God.
and Rick Ross, and I can't remember who else is on there. So I did take a listen. I was not impressed
Stop.
at all. But he did release a song called Entanglements. So that was
Oh,
pretty
I'm gonna, I'm
interesting.
gonna, I'm gonna have to go listen to that
Um
song. Go look that up.
yeah, that was really something. Take a listen to that. So our mental
Oh
health
goodness.
moment for today comes from our one of our resident beautiful brown girl mental health specialists, Dr. Shakina Andrews. So I found this over on her level 3 wellness, which is her company, on their Insta page. And it says, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And I thought this was really interesting because a lot of times we think sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, right? But she framed it
Right.
in sometimes we win and sometimes we learn. So I wanted to ask to the community and to you as well, Aisha, what has been one of your greatest losses that you feel allows you to learn a big lesson?
Whew. Yeah, and I gotta say, I love, like you said, a lot of times we hear sometimes you win, sometimes you lose,
Mm-hmm.
and that's so negative. So I love this very positive spin on it. And I'm of an experienced age, so I feel like I've had a lot of lessons. Um, so I kind of dug deep. There's some superficial ones from school and things like that. And I wanted to really, I was trying to think like a great loss as far as like you lost a job, you lost an opportunity. Um, for us, my husband and I, and we're fairly open about it, we struggled very much when it came to children.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a lot of losses with that and around that. And it was
Mm-hmm.
something that at the time you go, God, why me? Why me?
Mm-hmm.
What have I done? And it's very negative.
Mm-hmm.
When we ended up having Thor, I think it was all for a purpose, and it was all for the lesson to make me a better mom,
Mm-hmm.
to make me a calmer person. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
that calm, but I try. To make me understand more about myself, to make me understand more about human nature.
Mm-hmm.
So that really, from that standpoint, that was those losses and struggles and tragedies helped me become a better parent and a better person. And I don't think I would have been,
Mm-hmm.
without that. If things had
Mm-hmm.
just come easy,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't think I would have appreciated the way that I
Mm-hmm.
do. Um, so that was for me one of my great lessons that kind of stays with me day to day. So what
Interesting.
about you?
So my greatest loss of recent was the losing of my job. So I can't divulge everything that happened because of legalities, but
Yes.
I have not had a job since November. And what was very interesting, so it happened right before the holidays, and after that my dog died, and then after that it was Christmas, and then like things just kept happening. But when I now look back 7, 8, 9 months, like, God dang, that was 9 months. Eight, eight,
She's doing the
eight,
math real
nine
quick.
months. Yeah, like 8, 9 months later. Um,
Goes like that.
the loss of my job allowed me to truly find my voice
Hmm.
and step out on faith.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that I was doing this faith walk before that, right? I was like, yo, girl out here killing it, coaching the people, like all of that. But I felt like through that loss, that God was like, hey, so you be out here telling people that they need to walk in faith, huh? But you still getting a check
Hmm.
every 2 weeks? Let me show you what this faith walk looks like. And y'all, it like I have not been in a position. It sometimes it's been tight now. Your girl been like, "Woo, Jesus, where that check coming from?" But I was able to pay my rent, my car note. I was even able to pay off a credit card,
Wow.
while not having a job. Like, people would
Hmm.
literally call and say, "Hey, I sent you some money," or, "Hey, I'm gonna pay this bill for you," or, "Hey, come do this work, I'm gonna write you a contract so you can come and do something," or, "Hey, don't you want to life coach me? Let me pay for your services." Like, things just came out of the woodworks, and I learned from that
Yeah.
that I really have to release my idea of how things are supposed to work. And I really have to
Hmm.
submit and surrender to what it is that God wants me to do and stop telling him no. So I learned from
Right.
that. Okay, cool. Lord, you want to send me to Alaska? Your girl is going. What's up? Like, just tell me where you want me to go, what you want me to do. And had I not lost that job, I would have
Oh
still
yeah.
been depending on the job as my source, as my soft place to
Yeah.
land, right? But the fact that I literally would look out my window and be like, in the Bible when they talk about the manna every morning, right? So I would look out the window and be like, looking for my manna, Jesus. Like, send me the quail and the manna, because this bank account is empty. And no
You were
lie.
looking for your email from God.
And I was
You
just
were looking
about
for
to
your
say
email
that.
from God.
I talk about that all the time. I talk about how I ask God for emails, and no lie, I would get a text message, or I would get an email from somebody send me a Cash App deposit or something, like something
Yep.
every time. So that was really big for me. And I think this has forever changed the way that I look at loss, because I feel like we get very
Oh yeah.
cliche, like, to work out and morning turns to dancing, and,
Oh,
and all of that. But in
and then
real life,
every
having to watch
cloud has
out.
a silver lining. Yeah, every
Yes.
cloud has a silver lining. Like, just look for your rainbow. I've been looking. Like, my
Yeah.
rainbow ain't coming. So
Yeah.
some of these comments though, where was it? Because I lost my feed for a second there. I want to say it was Karen Davis Thompson had talked about how infertility was part of her lost journey,
Mhm.
and that she was then made for adoption, which is
Mhm.
that's a calling in and of
Mhm.
itself. I
Mhm.
truly believe that.
And I saw
Somebody else had mentioned how
Candace had losing a big group of friends in order to learn not to accept being
yes.
mistreated.
Ooh, that is a huge. Yeah, I had that lesson a couple years ago, and
Me too,
I'm still
girl.
working on learning that one. But woo, she's right on that.
Yeah.
There were a few people talking about that the job, the job journey, losing jobs being a lesson, and I think because we are so dependent on our job sometimes,
Mhm.
like you said, Kimberland, you were like, I'll get a check every 2 weeks,
Mhm.
when it's not there, it really does force you to say, okay, what am I going to do now? Sink or swim, let's go. And to pull on your other gifts. So, a lot of people had that as well too. So,
And I saw Irma
you know,
said, I thought I was in love. I thought I finally knew what waiting to exhale meant. Girl, listen, I got some
mm-hmm.
stories about that child. But every time I can say I real life dodged a bullet, like for real.
Yeah.
So again, thinking about the win on the other side of it, Andrea said that email yields dividends. Yes, honey,
I
let me tell
I
you.
love I love what Lovely says. I learned that you can quit something and not be a quitter. And
Yes.
lovely, you are right on point, because I'll say that was something that for me has always been really hard. I can't quit. They'll think I'm a quitter. And
Mm-hmm.
the wording there, they'll
Mm-hmm.
think I'm a
Mm-hmm.
quitter.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, why am I putting so much stock in what somebody else thinks of me? But she's right. You can quit something, and you're not a quitter. It's, you were smart enough to know it's time to move on,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's a lesson.
The
That's
season
different,
has shifted,
you
and
know.
that is
Yes,
a-okay. Yes. Yes. And I've learned
yes.
definitely, if you don't leave, God will make it so uncomfortable for you to stay that your behind will be running, child. So I have learned at the beginning to just be like, oh, that's you, Lord. Cool, cool. All right, your girl out of here.
Bye. I'm
I'm
going. I'm doing.
pack my stuff up and leave Florida. I got you. I'm on it. And people are like, you're crazy. What are you doing? Where are you gonna go? Listen, he gonna tell me when I get there. Like, I can't even. It's, let me tell you, this next level faith walk is
Yep.
really something. I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Okay. So we want to, as we wrap up, honor our beautiful brown girl spotlight. Now, again, people don't know this about, they learn all kind of things about you today, Aisha.
I know, right?
So both Aisha and I are scientists, right? And this beautiful brown girl spotlight is dear and dear to our heart, because we're like, where did we go wrong? Like, what should we
Right.
have done, right? So this is Dr. Maia Warren. So Dr. Maia Warren is an ice cream scientist, and she is responsible for creating new flavors of ice cream at Cold Stone Creamery. That is
I
the
now find my
dopest
I now find myself
thing.
going, I need to go to Cold Stone more.
And I don't even eat ice cream like that. Like, for real, I'm
I
lactose
love it.
intolerant, so I
Love it.
probably should like never eat ice cream. But I was like, let me find me a Cold Stone and let me go get me some ice cream. So she is out there whipping them ice cream pots, child. Creating new ice cream flavors, and she talks about how there is so much science that goes into this,
Yes.
of creating new ice cream flavors.
Well, there is. I mean, it's all the chemistry, and you put some chemicals together. You think going to make a great flavor, and suddenly you got nothing but powder. And the things are dissolving, and it's just not working out. You're like, that was going to be a great triple flavor, and it's dust.
Fail.
So I asked my husband. I said, when I heard about this, I said, so how much more school do you think I need to get this
Right.
job?
I said I should have studied chemistry, not biology. I wonder if you had to pass organic to be an ice cream scientist. That's where I got tripped up, y'all. That
I
organic.
don't know. I don't know, but more power to her, because that's just, talk about going to something that's not a job. Like it's a career and you
Yeah.
enjoy it. So
Yes.
good for her. That's
Yes.
We should all be that lucky.
I know that's
So
right.
good for
Find the
her.
thing that you love to do so that it will never feel
Yep.
like work. So that is Dr.
You will never
Maia.
work a day in your life.
Yes, Dr. Maia Warren. Dr. Maia Warren. So she is our beautiful brown girl spotlight on today. So the next time
Yeah.
that you're thinking about getting some ice cream, go to Cold Stone so that we can check out her new flavors that she has on the market.
I love
So go
I
ahead.
love
What
all
were
the
you?
people in the comments going yum.
Yes. Like, and it's hot, y'all. It's hot here in Boston. So I'm thinking to myself, are they still open? Because listen, it's hot.
Oh yeah.
But having said all of that, Aisha, how was your first show?
Oh my, this was great. This was so much fun. Like, the comments, I thank you all for the love when I first came on, and y'all just stayed with us, and the comments all throughout the show. So thank you, Kimberland, for helping me through this and being such a wonderful co-host as well. And this was great. I loved it. So
Absolutely.
I hope to do this again, and I can't wait to the other BBG ventures we got going on. So yay! So thank you, everybody.
Yes. Yes. So it was an absolute joy and pleasure to have you on. We definitely thank you all for always rocking with us and through our
Yes.
comments hating. We couldn't put any comments up today. But thank y'all for holding it down in the comments. Y'all so faithful. Let me see. We need to do like
There.
a BBG award for like, most engagement and like, you know what I mean? Like we need to do something
They
because our
were having
people be
side
hating.
conversations.
all the
They
time.
were having side conversations in there. I was watching like reply to. I was like, y'all, yes, it was great.
All
I loved
the
it.
time, all the time. So shout out to those of you again who were with us for the very first time. We want to make sure that you are connected to us in all the ways that are possible. So we want to make sure that you have liked us over on our Facebook page, Beautiful Brown Girls, that you have joined our Facebook group, Beautifully Shaded, as well as followed us on Instagram at Beautifully Shaded and on Twitter at Beautiful Brown U. So we definitely want you to get connected that way. We also want to make sure that you go over to our Beautiful Brown Girls social network. If you go to members, .beautifulbrowngirls.com, you are able to join the Beautiful Brown Girls social network either from your desktop or from your mobile device. Okay, so we want you to get connected to us in all the ways that matter because we have so many things that are happening right now. Again, reminding you all that we have 10% off right now on our BBG t-shirts. So you can get you one much like this one here. I'll stand up so you can see it. Brown Girl Magic,
I
Beautiful
need
Brown
that one.
Girl,
I love that.
quarter sleeve with the hood.
Yes,
I'm being a model right now. Ow.
I
Okay.
love it.
So you want to you want to go over and get you some of Beautiful Brown Girl merch so that you can be fitted out as we are hanging out on Brown Versations. And remember that we are having our Netflix watch party on this Saturday, the 25th. That's going to be at 12 p.m. Pacific and 3 p.m.
Mhm.
Eastern. And it's kind of, we get to watch and chat all at the same time, what we do so well. So mark your calendars and put that down so that you are able to join us there. And remembering, y'all, we have so much new content that we're working on. So we want to
Mhm.
get every beautiful brown girl that we know connected to the Beautiful Brown Girl Network so that they are able to benefit from these brown conversations and the things that are super exciting for brown girls and people that
Yep.
look like us. So, Aisha, tell the people where they can find you after this.
You can find me on Facebook at Aisha RC, or you can find me on my Instagram. It's Gaia_Yord. It's a little shout out to Greek mythology and my son Thor. And please friend request me, follow me on Instagram, and I hope to talk to y'all more soon.
Awesome. And you can find me on Facebook at Kimberland Jackson, or at my website, kimberlandjackson.com. Again, I am a life coach. So if you are looking to discover your God given purpose, holla at your girl, because that is what I specialize in. And then you can also follow me on Instagram over at Kimberland J. So having said all of that, it is about time for us to roll on out of here. So we
No.
are gonna dance it out, and then we're gonna see y'all on the flip side. We'll be back in 2 weeks. So on Monday, August 3rd, we'll be back here. Bring
Yep.
somebody with you. Bring about 5 people with you. Tag your friends. Tell them to come over here and rock with us because this is where it be popping. Okay.
Share the broadcast.
Yes, yes. And we know the brown conversation doesn't stop here. So we go back, we watch, we comment. So keep it going. Because yeah, this is the only place to be right here on Brown Conversations on
Yep.
BBG TV. So we will see y'all next time.
Hi.